Excellency Deputy President Mashatile, could I invite you to present your keynote address? Thank you very much.
Program directors, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor and Mr. Pandor, ministers, deputy ministers, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners, esteemed members of the diplomatic corps, members of parliament, directors generals, and senior government officials, leaders of business community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Sanibonani, riperile, dimatekwa, huyenant. I consider it a privilege to be present at this evening's prestigious event, which acknowledges outstanding individuals in South African industries, as well as notable citizens who have made significant contributions to advancing South Africa's national interests and values across the globe. We used to have a byline as part of promoting our country that says that South Africa is alive with possibilities, without suggesting that we must go back to it. I believe that this event served as a reflection that our future is indeed bright. Ladies and gentlemen, these awards take place a few days after President Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, delivered the 6th administration final State of the Nation address. The President delivered a deeply moving address that recounted the critical path of our young democracy. The analogy of Tintswalo resonated with many South Africans, some of whom will be honored tonight. The President's reference to the Tintswalo solely serves as an indication of the bare minimum achievements that South Africa has achieved over the last 3 decades. We are cognizant that some Tintswalo may appear to be an unattainable ambition for a variety of reasons. But as government, we want the life of Tintswalo to mirror the life of every person and the possibility that exists for all South Africans, possibilities that exceed Tintswalo's wildest dreams. To achieve this, we must all come together as government, NGOs, private sector and communities to build a society that will see everyone with equal opportunities, to express reference to Ubuntu in the interim constitution created hope of an equal and just society, which does not discriminate between people on the grounds of their culture, race, gender, or religious beliefs. As the ANC-led government, we are committed to ensuring that South Africa maintains its position as a prominent nation in diverse sectors in the coming years, thereby effecting positive change both domestically and internationally. We are humbled to be here this evening with many of you who have tirelessly worked to ensure that the spirit of Ubuntu is a reality for a great number of South Africans. As the Ubuntu Awards enters its 8th year of existence, these awards continue to demonstrate that our country is an important participant in the international community. For many years, South Africa did not feature positively in global discourse. However, the past 3 decades have seen increased recognition of South Africa's contribution across various sectors. While we can only recognize a few people tonight, we are aware that around the country, numerous people have represented South Africa in various projects in research, in education and training, in sport, arts and culture, and business and corporate affairs over the last year. It is South African tradition to honor and celebrate those amongst us who have distinguished themselves in their fields while championing the concept and values of Ubuntu. We are proud as government to know that many South Africans hold positions of influence on global platforms. And we are proud of the success stories of South Africans around the world who reflect what South Africa believes, which is firmly rooted in the notion of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an ancient African philosophy that is rooted in having compassion for others. It is an affirmation of our humanity, which also affirms the humanity of others. As South Africans, we firmly believe in the idea of I am because you are. In reflecting on the true meaning underpinning tonight's event, I recall the words of our great former statesman, President Nelson Mandela, when he said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." Close quote. Compatriots, when our country emerged from the dark past of apartheid, where people were oppressed and excluded because of their race, we were as a nation determined to celebrate the truly African philosophy of Ubuntu. As a compass for our journey over the past 30 years, the philosophy of Ubuntu has played a major role in the forging of a South African national consciousness and guided us throughout the process of our democratic transformation, social cohesion, and nation building. Since 1994, the international community has looked to South Africa to play a leading role in championing the values of human rights, democracy, reconciliation, and the eradication of poverty and underdevelopment. We believe that South Africa has risen to the challenge and continue to make a meaningful contribution in the pursuit of these goals in our region, on the continent, and globally. South Africa's unique perspective on global issues have found expression in the concept of Ubuntu, which informs our approach to diplomacy and shapes our vision for a better world for all. It was the commonly shared values of Ubuntu that motivated us as government to mobilize our sharpest legal minds to prepare a solid case to be presented to the International Court of Justice in the hopes of arresting the genocide in Gaza, which the United Nations Secretary General has called an unprecedented catastrophe. If Madiba were alive today, he would never have remained silent in the face of genocide, ethnic cleansing, or gross human rights abuses. He would have moved mountains to try to end the Israeli military onslaught on the people of Palestine, especially in Gaza, and to have Hamas release the civilians as well, the civilian hostages. Taking the case to the World Court to bring about an end to this human tragedy would have been his priority, no matter what it costs. And I want on this occasion to also take this opportunity to congratulate Minister Pando and Minister Lamola, who led our teams as we were pursuing that course. At the end of the day, what do we have if not our principles? We have demonstrated to the world that South Africa's human rights informed our foreign policy and did not end with Madiba. We are, as children of Madiba, committed today to the universality of human rights, as we always were, to the struggle for justice, for freedom, and self-determination. The struggle of the people of Palestine is our struggle. It is our struggle, as it should be, for all freedom-loving people of the world. It is, however, concerning that 2 weeks after the court's ruling, Israel has continued its indiscriminate bombing of Gaza, killing hundreds of civilians, and it has failed to ensure that the civilian population receive adequate humanitarian aid and medical care, as well as the essential required to sustain human life, such as food, water, electricity. We will stand hand in hand with the Palestinians until they achieve their freedom. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." Close quote. Ladies and gentlemen, whether in conflict resolution or diplomacy, international relation work is not the exclusive domain of government, but requires input and participation by citizens. South Africa is a diverse quilt of incredibly talented people who are deeply committed to the work they do, and many have succeeded in making the nation incredibly proud. It is thus wonderful that we have such an evening where we highlight these achievements, honor those who have made significant strides globally, and inspire others to emulate their example. I trust that the stories we have heard and those who are going to hear tonight would have left us feeling inspired and will give us all the courage to choose the path less traveled. I would like to sincerely congratulate all nominees and award winners tonight, not only for being global ambassadors and flying our flag high, but also for contributing to your fields for the benefit of others and making our world a better place. Our envoys for economic diplomacy play an increasingly important and prominent role, as we need to urgently stimulate economic growth if we are to lift our people out of poverty and make South Africa a better place to live in. We must recognize businesses that have contributed to South Africa's reputation as an ideal destination to conduct business. The Mining Indaba 2024, held over the past few days under the theme Making South Africa a Favorable Destination for Mining Investments, is also one of the strategic platforms for South African businesses to advance their interests, but also the interests of the nation. Such efforts will help us achieve our socio-economic goals to create jobs, facilitate trade, and attract investments. We are also cognizant of the fact that South Africa's exports go beyond goods and services, as we are a country that is also rich in the arts, rich in culture, sport, science, and ideas. The various categories of these prestigious awards are indicative of the fact that successful diplomacy is indeed an integrated effort. Program directors, in closing, I would like once again to thank the Minister and Deputy Minister for their continued leadership in this sector and congratulate them on hosting this successful ceremony. You can already see it's successful, full house. I also want to thank other ministers and deputy ministers who are here, all the colleagues, for their support as well. Let me also take this opportunity to thank all the diplomats who are here tonight for the sterling role they play in implementing our foreign policy. And lastly but not least, thank our nominees for the part they play in making our country a success and shaping the narrative at the global stage about what it means to be South African. I wish all of you the best as you continue working towards making South Africa a prosperous country for the current and future generations. Thank you very much, and let's enjoy the evening. Akensa Inko.
Thank you very much, Deputy President, for that lovely speech. And of course, Aldrin, you know, you and I are a Dintswalo. I'm definitely a Dintswalo, but I'm glad the Deputy President also does say, of course, that the plan is to have everyone become a Dintswalo.